Basically, they'll be going to convention, but we'll be looking at what's happening in the bar now and some of the major things that if there's a new leadership. Councillor Vama and the rest that came to the leadership of the bar. They took over from. The man who's now calling himself a presidential hopeful, who used to head the bar, they took over from him, and so they are new leaders in the bar, but they'll be telling us basically some of the things that they've done since they took over. Well, Council, how you doing?
I'm great, Soba. It's good to be back here. It's really an opportunity. You guys are doing a great job here. So whenever we come here and see all the developments, we tend to be gratified by your efforts here at State Radio. So we think you are doing great, and it's an opportunity to be here this morning.
Thank you very much, and I understand that you'll be joined. Will be joined by Anthony Adlaw Ade Wedeke Kula. I understand she's the chairperson for your media and publicity committee, the Penny by convention, and also Anthony Adlaw Fasia Harris as well.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be expecting them. But what is cooking currently in the bar?
The bar is great. We have a lot to do at the level of the Liberian National Bar Association. Like you said, we've been the runner leadership for like 11 months, and so we've been working. We are on the right trajectory. We have been doing what has been expected of us as the leadership. We came from the convention last year in November, and so election of new corps of officers, and so that leadership headed by Councillor Sylvester Doboreni seems to be moving the bar in the right direction. You know that we have primary responsibilities. First and foremost is to advocate for the enhancement in the roller program in Liberia. We do our best to link the Liberian National Bar Association with international organizations. We work with the Supreme Court in improving the rural law sector. We also work with relevant collaborating partners to ensure that the rural law program is enhanced in Liberia. So we are great and working very well. The National Executive Council, in the absence of the National Convention, seems to be working, which is chaired by the National President, Councillor Rennie. So everything seems to be moving in the right direction.
Okay, we'll talk about your convention, but first let's hear from you. You said you have been working, and the workings you've been doing that include also linking the bar to international organizations. Do you care to tell us what is the sort of relationship you established?
Well, we have a policy of engagement that we adopted when we assumed the leadership of the bar a couple of months ago. We've been working with national government. We've been working with our colleagues at the level of the Supreme Court. We've been working with our partners. For instance, the Carter Center is working with the bar on the bar's pro bono program, where we've seconded some lawyers to work with the Carter Center. They have a project, and that seems to be moving very well. We have done some work at the level of the Winrock International. It's an American NGO supported by the Labor Department in the U.S. to build the capacity of prosecutors, public defense lawyers, and judges. So that has been working very well. Of course, our American partners have been very supportive onto our legal aid projects. We have 5 legal aid clinics in 5 of the counties. They've been doing great. And so we seem to be moving very well. In August of this year, the bar represented, the leadership of the bar represented members of the bar at the African Bar Convention, National Conference in Malawi, Lulungwe, and where we discussed variety of issues ranging from investment opportunities, alternative dispute resolution, and so many other issues. For instance, the ECOWAS Code, the enforceability power of the ECOWAS Code whenever it renders judgment, all of those issues were highlighted and discussed. In Malawi, at the level of the General Conference of the AFBAR, we were also in Ghana in August to participate in Anglophone West Africa Bar Association's meeting to discuss about the decriminalization and declassification of petty offenses in West Africa. That also went very well. We're working with them on that time. We have just returned over the weekend from the Gambia, Banjul, where we participated in another Anglophone summit organized by the ECOWAS Commission through the Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering to discuss about measures to mitigate money laundering and terrorist financing in West Africa. You may be aware that currently GIABA is headed by a Liberian, the immediate past director of the FIA. It used to be FIU, but it's now FIA, Mr. Erin Harris. He now heads the West Africa sub-region when it comes to money laundering and terrorist financing. That meeting went very well. We are going to be attracting some support from ECOWAS through GIZ, the German Technical Corporation, to elevate the conversation around money laundering and terrorist financing. So all of what we've been doing seems to be in sync with our mandate. And so the bar is moving very well. We'll continue to work with national government. There's no way that we can improve rule of law sector in this country without always reverting to national government. For instance, we've been doing some work with the Judiciary Committee in the Senate, in the lawmaking process. Ultimately they have the responsibility, but again, they can consult, the bar in some of the issues. And so it has been working very greatly. We are working with the Honorable Supreme Court. In fact, recently we had a meeting with the Supreme Court and the Central Bank of Liberia under the leadership of the new Chief Justice, Her Honor Sianayo, to talk about the competency of insurance firms to proffer bonds. I think it's an issue for the Supreme Court. So she convened a meeting for us to contribute or the development mechanism, how the court will be able to service that particular process. We're working with the Trial Judges Association. They constitute an auxiliary of the bar. And so we're working with them to ensure that some of the issues that confront them, the bar will work with them to dissect some of the issues and find a way around it. For instance, the question of harmonization that took place with judicial workers. The bar is concerned about delay in salary payments to judicial workers. And so we need to work with the Supreme Court, the leadership of the Supreme Court, the government, which include the office of the president and the minister of finance, to find a way around all of this. If you may, it is already in the news that prosecutors have abandoned the courts, and so the bar is going to immediately intervene in this matter. We don't think the way it's been handled is proper, and so we're going to intervene to sit with the Minister of Justice to find a way around it. I think the prosecutors have abandoned the courts because they feel indignified by the salaries paid to them by government. I hear that some of them make $700. It's a matter of concern because they also constitute a very good portion of our membership. So we are concerned about the interest of prosecutors. But the only way these issues can be well dissected if we consult, revert to the relevant people, the leadership of the Ministry of Justice, the Minister of Finance, the president office, because there's no way you're going to dispense justice in the absence of government lawyers. So there's already a gap that must be filled in. So the bar is concerned about that, and we're going to immediately intervene. Before coming to the show this morning, I spoke with the national president, Councillor Rennie, because the Ministry of Justice has taken a position to issue letter patents to private lawyers. We don't think that's the way around it. We think the way around it is to continue the consultation with the prosecutors. The way to do it is to continue to talk with the prosecutor, getting the Minister of Finance involved with this matter, since the president is away, and the Minister of Justice to sit down with the prosecutors to find a way around it. So we think it's a topical issue, and so we're going to get involved with that to see how it can be resolved. But we are here this morning to talk about the national convention.
We'll rest assured we'll come to that. We'll talk about the convention.
These are meaningful interventions.
I just saw that we needed to know what the bar has been doing, especially the new leadership.
These are meaningful interventions we've made. If you may, the president has constituted relevant committees in the bar to help his leadership succeed. And of course, some of the legal luminaries have been selected or appointed by the national president, approved by the National Executive Council to help this leadership. We know we have some issues with our we have some issues with our constitution, and so former Chief Justice Gloria Mususcat has been appointed by the national president, approved by the National Executive Council, to look at the constitution of the bar and proffer some recommendations that we can discuss at the convention and see how we can and that will be able to inform constitutional reform in the bar. Councillor Benedict Sano has been appointed by the national president, approved by the National Executive Council, as the new chairperson of the Continuing Legal Education Committee, which is like a very important committee in the bar. That committee rolls out activities to build the capacity of our members by attracting some practitioners, professionals who will come to deliver papers, and that's how the lawyers will be able to get that 10 credits per annum. And so that's why, in fact, we've come to signal here this morning that as we go to the convention, we'd like to encourage our membership to participate, because if you are in the bailiwick of the country and don't participate in the convention, you will forfeit the credits, and which is very critical. You will not be granted your license in 2023, and we'd like to stress that very important.
Okay.
And so these are some meaningful interventions the bar has made, and we'll continue to work, like I said, with relevant actors. You are quite aware that we have embarked, as the nation state, we've embarked upon the electoral process. There are processes that lead to the elections in 2023. The bar will seek to ensure that the processes are integrous. The bar will seek to ensure that those relevant processes are consistent with laws. We have held an inaugural meeting with the Board of Commissioners at the Election Commission to discuss ways and measures that the bar can adopt to assist the commission in different areas. For instance, the training of magistrates and hearing officers, voter education, civic and voter education, whatever role the bar can play. We don't just want to play the traditional role, sitting back idly and advocating without substantively contributing to the process, and then something erupts tomorrow, then we'll find a way around. So I think we should be proactive. All of us should be proactive. Whatever we have challenges, we must be able to address the challenges with our, the bar. Nobody would say we are the biggest law firm in Liberia. And since we regulate the rural sector, we are on a standby to help facilitate the electoral processes. So whatever role we can play, we're still trying to conceptualize the role the bar will play in all of this, to ensure that we work with Election Commission, our partners. There's some arrangement that is taking place with the German Embassy and the Air Commission on having a monthly dialogue to talk peace in the country. I think we went to the maiden edition at the Centennial Pavilion 2 weeks ago. And so we're working with different elements in the Liberian society, making sure that this democracy that we enjoy is kept afloat, is not hindered or disturbed.
Okay, thank you. We'll come back to you, Mr. Chief Scrab. But first, before we go to your colleagues, you've been doing a lot, and let me commend the bar for that. I think you cut across all of the spears and in making sure that your presence is felt. But are they part of your mandate?
Yes.
Okay.
Rule of law is an indispensable element of any democratic system. Okay. There is no way you can have a bar that will be passive and then you have rule of law that is enhanced. No way. If you want to enhance rule of law in our democratic dispensation, the bar must be very robust. They all constitute part of our mandate. It's a broad mandate. The bar mandate is not just limited to advocating the rule of law. No. It's a broad mandate that we have. So we do a lot more. Whatever thing we can do to improve the system of governance. Like I said, because everything, the bedrock is enhancing the rule of law, making sure the rule of law is kept topical, is adhered to. That's what we do. So they all constitute part of the mandate of the bar. So if you may, this is the oldest bar on the African continent. And that's why when we participate in international meetings, much more reference is made to the Liberian bar because we constitute the oldest bar on the continent. We have a lot more experience. We have the expertise to do a lot more. And that's why reference is normally made to the bar. So yes. So the convention.
Yes, I'm about to talk about the convention. Okay, we've just been joined by Fasia, Antonin at Law Fasia Harris. Fasia, welcome to the program.
Good morning and thank you.
Is the mic open? Let's check it up. Good morning.
Good morning, Sorbor, and thank you for having us.
Okay, we also have in the studio Antonin at Law. We had a Ade Wedi Kekura. Ade, my good friend, how you doing?
I'm fine.
but look at my face now and tell me.
Yeah.
Okay, Ade, so where are we with this bar convention? Let's begin with you, Ade.
The on-course of the convention, it takes place on Thursday and Friday this week, November 24 and 25. And the convention is a mandate given to the Bar Association by its constitution, specifically Section 2, which mandates that every year there should be a convention held. It does not say when, but it was decided, and that convention is normally held in the last week in November every year. And this year's convention is being held under the theme Contemporary Developments in the Law, Implications for Liberia's Legal System. And we're going to have several activities. I will leave that to Fasia. She will give you a rundown of the entire program for Thursday and Friday.
Okay.
And it's going to be held at the Painesville Town Hall. On Thursday is going to be Painesville City Hall. Yeah. They don't like people saying Town Hall, so it's going to be held at the Painesville City Hall. On Thursday, that's the day after tomorrow, it's going to begin with the formal program where we're going to have certain activities, people speaking to us, friends of the LMPA making special remarks. And then afterwards, we're going to go into a panel discussion, which, like I said, Fasia will discuss better. And on Friday, beginning at 7:30, we will converge at the around the ELWA junction, around the Liberia Revenue Authority, to proceed in a parade to the Painesville City Hall. And from there, we're going to continue with activities for the day. And the day is going to be climaxed by sporting activities. We're going to go to bat with the Liberia Medical and Dental Association.
Okay. You said Fasia will be telling us more about the activities. But before I go to Fasia, you said it's a mandate given to the bar by its constitution. Although the constitution didn't say when should the lawyers gather in the convention. How did you select the date?
That date, as far as I know, even when I was a student, convention was... So that was a decision that was made by leaders years and years and years ago. So even when I was a law school student, convention was always held the last week in December. So that is
in December or November?
Sorry, it's November. I meant to say November, and it's a policy. So we hold it in November, and that's it. It's not that we don't.
Okay, let me ask the SG, Mr. SG, how did you select this last week in November?
Well, actually, it's constitutional. You know,
it's in the constitution.
It's in the constitution. The last week in November every year.
It's spelled out in the constitution.
Yes, spelled out in the constitution. The date and the venue are something that must be approved by the National Executive Council. But it's actually the last week in November, as you say, actually. So it is now constitutional. Yeah. Okay. It is now expressly stated in the Constitution.
Okay, so let me go to Fasia. Fasia, what are those activities that will be marking the convention?
Good morning again, and thank you. Like the senior councils said, the event starts on Thursday at the Painesville City Hall as early as 7:30 in the morning. And then, as part of these activities, like every other formal occasion, we will have introduction of the occasion. We're going to have different complimentary greetings that is going to be brought by different stakeholders who are working on different issues across Liberia. They are going to be present, and they are going to give complimentary greetings to members of the bar who will gather on Thursday for the annual convention. And amongst the dignitaries and stakeholders that are going to be present, we expect to have the Ambassador of the United States of America present. We expect to have the Ambassador of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So all of the embassies that are near Monrovia, that's just to name a few, we expect that they are going to grace our occasion like they've always, have done. And they're going to bring greetings to the bar. And that is going to be followed by a special statement by the Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia, Her Honor, C.I.N. Yo, who is going to also greet the bar, the members of the bar at our convention. And the guest speaker is going to, who is Dr. Roland Core. He is going to be speaking on the theme of this year's convention, contemporary developments in the law, implications for Liberia's legal system. So we are going to be privileged to have him speak, and he's the Deputy head of UNTP.
No, he's the program
The-
manager and chief technical advisor of the UNDP Rule of Law.
Okay, so the head of UNTP Rule of Law program, Dr. Roland Cole, who is also a lawyer himself, is going to be, interacting with us on our theme for that day.
Okay.
And that is going to be followed. I show the SG spoke about the CLE process. So after the formal speeches and address, we're going to have the continuing legal education sections. And that section, those sections are going to be covered by different themes. So one of the themes that, or the topics that are going to be covered is the sanction regime under international law, legitimacy, unilateralism, multilateralism, and repercussions. So we're going to have a CLE process, the continuing learning education section, that's going to be one of the topics.
So that'll be a lecture exercise or what?
Yeah, so it's like a seminar.
Okay.
So as part of the requirements for lawyers is to attend the continuing learning education. Legal, yeah. Legal education process.
Okay.
So it's, you say, okay, the lawyers know everything, they're well-learned people, but the field of law is progressive, and there are contemporary issues, there are emerging issues.
Popping up here, and they need to be educated on those things.
Importantly enough, the bar takes this very seriously, because as a lawyer, you are supposed to assert yourself and, do your advocacy based on the law, but you have to be very cognizant of the realities, the contemporary issues that are emerging, because those issues are going to come before you. So this is a process where lawyers gain points from. So it's like we still go to school. Lawyers learn every day. Every day is a steady process. So as members of the bar, you have to attend this section, and it's held at our conventions. So at every convention, we have the opportunity for the CLE process.
That's all the activities so far?
No, that's not all. So the CLE process is going to start on day 1, and it's going to happen or continue on day 2. So the first section is going to be led by Councilor Pilar Boca Wilson, who is also a very learned, lawyer. She's going to be presenting this topic, and there's interactive. So after presentation, lawyers have the opportunity to ask questions and debate the issues.
She's at the Independent Human Rights Commission.
Yes,
right?
but she's a lawyer and a member of the Liberia National Bar Association. So on day 2, we're going to start with the parade in the morning. We're going to gather at the ELWA Junction, where we're going to march. We got to display now. People have to see the lawyers. We have to wear our T-shirts and our cap and come on with normal people. And we parade to the City Hall. And interestingly, the Chief Justice and the Associate Justices of the Supreme Court
They'll be parading with you people.
Present. So this is an opportunity. We're encouraging all lawyers to kindly be on time, so that we all can, parade together and go to the City Hall, because the Chief Justice and the other associate justices are going to be there. And also, ELWA Junction, the traffic issue, so we will not want to store traffic for a very long time. So it's going to be very important that we all gather at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we parade to the Pinsville City Hall. And once we gather at the Pinsville City Hall, the process for the continuing legal education is going to continue on day 2. And there are going to be different presenters. Councilor Koda A. Elliott, Councilor Aloysius Chapa is going to be presenting, and Councilor Arthur Johnson. And they're going to be talking on different topics. We have emerging trends in the law, an overview of new legislations, and opinions of the Supreme Court in the last 10 years. So the Supreme Court make laws. The decisions of the Supreme Court, they automatically becomes law. So we'll be discussing on this emerging trends on the law, looking at opinions from the Supreme Court over the last 10 years. And just on the topic, it's going to be very, 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 very interesting.
Yes, loaded.
Yes,
very
and
loaded.
Lawyers across Liberia attending look forward to this section as well.
Okay.
And after that section, we are going to go for lunch, and then when we come back, we get into the business section of the bar, where we're going to discuss issues relevant to the running of the bar. We hear from the president and other administrative issues, announcements, decisions that are going to be taken, they're going to be made. And we adjourn for day 2, and then we gather later on for the outdoor events, and that's when we're going to be playing the doctors.
Oh, the lawyers will be playing the doctors.
Yes, the lawyers will be playing
so
the doctors.
where that game will be held?
Vocal mission.
Oh, vocal
So it's
mission.
going to be held Pinsville Focal Mission Field.
Okay.
So we gather and we have the fun event.
Okay. Now, SG, what makes this year's convention different from that of others you held before?
Well, just before coming to the question, Fasia Anochi did not mention the presenters on the first day. She mentioned the moderator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so maybe you can just go back to the presenter, list of
All right.
presenters. Yeah.
All right. So Council, I got to do that to my paper.
Well,
Yeah.
we have a very robust CLE committee. Like I
Okay.
said to you, that is headed by Councilor Benedict F. Sano. And so they've been working with the leadership of the bar to look at these topical issues and then recommend some presenters that have been approved by the National Executive Council. So, yeah, she has a list there, so
Okay.
I just want her to go.
Okay,
All
Fasia.
right. So the first day we're going to have Professor Moni Ara Captain.
Okay.
You know, he served in different sector.
Yeah.
And he's also a professor, so he's going to be on a panel again. As a reminder, that topic is going to be contemporary developments in the law implications for Liberia legal system.
Okay.
So we're also going to have Dr. Samuel Toh, who is going to be sharing his knowledge with us as well, and Councilor Marco Dix.
Okay.
They're all going to be presenting on this topic and having interactions with the lawyers.
Okay. So what makes this year's convention different from
Like
that
she
of
said in her introductory remarks, the practice of law is progressive. And so, even if you look at the numerical strength of lawyers on our jurisdiction, under the Bar Association, that number has increased now. If you look at our list of partners have also increased. That list has also increased. So, the fact that we have decided to expand the scope of participants, our collaborating partners, to come to make complementary greetings, some of whom have never participated in the bar event, makes it a little bit different. The momentum, the euphoria associated with the bar convention. This convention is going to be the last major activity in a year. Because like I said, we're going to have one convention as stipulated in the Constitution.
Okay.
And so
every year?
Yeah, and so, and mind you, it is the highest organ in the Constitution, the convention. That's why the most supreme authority is vested in, like you said, we'll review our activities, we'll proffer recommendation, adopt resolution to move the bar forward. So, and it promises to be big, the fact that we're going to bring other people, other collaborating partners, to interact with the members of the bar. And if you may, one start different from the last convention is that we have a brand new Chief Justice who just got appointed and commissioned in person of Siana Yo. Siana Yo, mind you, she was vice president of the Liberia National Bar Association. And now she's been appointed and commissioned as the new Chief Justice. So we're gonna have an exuberant Chief Justice, new Chief Justice, who will be making a special statement, on behalf of the Honorable Supreme Court. If you may, we also have new associate justices, that have been appointed and confirmed, appointed and commissioned by, the president. So Judge Bessie, who the other people again? Judge Bessie, the new people.
Judge
Bessie, Judge Nangbe. I'm sure is this the first
Justice
convention?
Nyangbe?
Justice Nangbe?
This is not his first
Okay, so
convention.
so all these issues are emerging, and so it promises to be great. Like you said, we're going to have a business session to discuss trending issues, affecting the practice of law, and that session will be presided over by the national president. There are topical issues, there are trending issues that bedevil the bar. So we think giving opportunity to members of the bar to discuss and adopt resolution will be something that will set the goal for 2023. So
now, you know, the convention basically, if I like I heard from Fasia and you all, is about taking stocks and working out prospects on how you move forward. if you were to look back, Mr. SG, what is it that the bar, has, did in the past that they didn't do well that you'll be looking at also during the convention?
Well, I can say that's a difficult question. The bar is a very unique organization. It has always had unique ceremony, unique events.
Because let me
There are pundits and evaluators of the bar who think that the bar is much political. Of course, there are also pundits who also believe that the bar continue to remain independent, professional membership organization. So the debates are out there, but we think the bar is independent. It's quite independent, and that's why we've made all these strides over the years.
Okay.
Talking about, working with the national legislature, in the lawmaking process, working with other branches of government, the executive branch of government, and making sure some of the policies work. So, yes, there are people who think that the bar has been political.
As you go to a convention, FASIA and SG, as you all go to the conventions, how do you intend erasing that perception, that understanding? Because in the past, what we heard and we know, the bar was always firing. Every time there's this statement from the bar, but since you all came in, the new leadership, we haven't heard the bar speaking on major national issues. Rather, you've been on the cover.
We've been speaking on major national issues, but I said to you in my introductory remarks, this leadership has adopted a policy of engagement. Before we
unlike previous leadership?
Well, I don't want to say that. The attributes of individuals may be slightly different from other individuals. So, attributes of Councillor Gonglo, who is a immediate past president, I don't know if he's the one you're making reference to, maybe slightly different from Councillor Sylvester Double-Rennie. So his style, the current leadership style, is to always consult with relevant stakeholders in the back, and then that will inform our public opinions on topical subject matters. So I don't know, but the bar being the bar, it will always be the bar because it is a robust institution. Like I said to you, there's no way you're going to have a passive bar and then you have an enhanced rule of law process. So the two don't go together. You must have a very robust bar that will work with relevant stakeholders, because enhancing the rule of law, you can't do it by yourself. You got to work with the Supreme Court, you got to work with other branches of government, and then your collaborating partner to make sure that, like I said to you, we've been doing some work with Wainwright International, the Carter Center, the American government, you say. So a lot more is taking place in the bar. And so I want us to concentrate on those strides. Where Gonglo was a fiery person, he was a political person. But I don't think during his days as president, national president of the bar, he ever talked about becoming president of this country. I think it was after he turned over the office as national president that, his political tone decided to change. And so we remain on course, actually, So the bar and the national government must work together. We're an enemy. There's no dichotomy, because we're working for one denominator called Liberia. So we must work with the president, who was elected democratically. We must work with other branches of government, and that's why I said to you that we are working very closely with the Senior Youth bench to ensure that the rule of law sector is enhanced. I said 2 weeks ago we had a meeting with the Chief Justice and the Central Bank of Liberia to talk about ensuring the competency of insurance companies to proffer bonds. So she's fiery. She's assuming authority at the Supreme Court, and I see her in a very exuberant mode to make things work. And so we will work with her.
Okay.
In making sure that we move the sector forward.
Okay. Now, for Sia, what is required for lawyers? Maybe I'm a lawyer and I'm in my corner. I don't know basically what I'm supposed to do to attend the convention. What is required?
So there are 3 categories of participants at the Liberia National Bar Association annual convention, and we have the counselors at law. So that's the highest you can reach in the legal profession. So counselor at law are expected to register with the total amount of $125, and attorneys at law are to pay $100 United States dollars for registration, convention fees, and law students are to pay $75.
Yes, and that astronomical. Isn't that high?
Law students are associate members of the bar. You are almost, you already interacting with with the law. So they are associate members of the bar, so they are expected to attend bar convention, even though they do not vote and take part in, voting processes, but they are expected to attend the bar. So we encouraged all our lawyers, attorney at laws, counselor at laws, and students, but now you should have completed your registration process because that facilitates the activities of the bar.
So that is inclusive of the t-shirts that they're going to wear.
Yes,
They
so
will be
all
carried.
it comes with feeding, refreshment, and it comes with all the different items in the package that you receive at the convention, which will include your name tag, your t-shirts, your cap. This year we're doing bags.
Yes.
We include
Bags
a
are
bag,
available.
and I still have my bag from one of the
Okay,
conventions.
you get a
when I
brand new
was a
one into
student.
this, yeah.
So you see, it's still useful. I carry it's still strong as well. So
That's good.
you get a bag and then the program sheet. And this is our institution, our association. You sign up to become members of the bar, and once we are gathering constitutionally, it is expected that all lawyers, as always, they've done in the past, will convene. They will register on time,
Sure.
and they will attend the events and all of the activities therein that has been lined up.
What
So
happens
that's-
to a lawyer or an attorney at law who does not attend the convention?
You want me to come in there?
Yeah. So, actually, please, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, there are repercussions.
Repercussions?
Yes,
Okay.
of course. We grant you on an annual basis the lessons to practice. And so, but you must be in good standing with the bar. And one of those requirements is to attend all functions of the bar, participate in the CLE, which we say is a flagship project of the bar, where people come deliver papers and then, because like you said, the practice is progressive, and we all have challenges. I'm a counselor, I hold a master of laws, but I will have some issues in the practice, so by participating in those events, those CLE programs, where we benefit from the expertise of some practitioners, they will help to improve or it will impact my performance as a practicing lawyer. So that's why the bar places premium on the CLE program, because you must participate in all the events and then you get 10 points credit. You must have your 10 points at the end of the year, and then it will make you automatically be in good standing with the bar. So if you don't participate in the convention as it is required and stipulated in the Constitution, there could be repercussions.
So
if
it seems that
if you apply for your lesson in 2023, of course we check your records and we found out that you didn't participate in the convention, you will not be granted your lessons.
So it
Yes.
seems that you've organized the CLE program as a strategy to compel the attendance of the members.
Yes, attendance, because it helps to build the capacity of our members.
Okay.
And it's very critical.
And
It's very
not just-
critical.
it's
For
not just
instance,
compelling.
for instance, this sanction regime you're talking about is a contemporary issue. We're now talking about Magnitsky, right? That was 2016, 2017, right, by the U.S. government. Now they've been imposing sanctions on even some of our members in the bar. So we are bringing these practitioners, like she mentioned the name of Moni Captain, Professor Moni Captain, who is former foreign minister of Liberia. Councillor Barker, this is an enterprising lawyer, and then we have
Dr. Samuel too.
Dr. Samuel, who is a practitioner, academic practitioner, who will be coming to deliver the paper. And then you, as member of the bar, you interact with the panel. Maybe you have some doubts. There have been this question about what has the bar done against its own members who were sanctioned recently. Let me say it here that we have taken a decision at the level of the National Executive Council to forward the two lawyers to the Grievance and Ethics Committee. We are working behind the scene with our American partners so that we can compare notes. Maybe they have some pieces of evidence, because you know that the bar is an evidence-based institution. Before we institute action against any of our members, we must accord them due process. We must have the tool to work with. We must have the pieces of evidence to work with. So we are working with our American partners on this subject matter. But to say the least, we have adopted the position to forward Councillor Vanny Sherman and Councillor Serena Cephas to the Grievance and Ethics Committee. That is taking place right now. After the convention, more will be said about this particular subject matter. But there is no way we can proceed on this note without working with our American partners, our American friends, because they may be privileged to the pieces of evidence, the evidence that they may have in their possession. So we're working with them to see if we can get the evidence, and then of course that will inform decision against our members.
Okay.
So this particular topic has been coined for our members to come and benefit from the panel presentation ask all the relevant questions to the presenters, and then of course some of the doubts might be clarified, during the presentation.
I heard Fasia saying that we are still going to school because it's almost like what would you be doing with the marks or with the points that will be gathered? Because I'm sure, like you said, your members will have to attend, and there will be lecture series, and that's going to add up to whatever the points or the grades that are. What are you going to do with that? How do you gather that?
Let me just say something to you. Like me and other lawyers appear before the Honorable Supreme Court. Every day we are graded by the Chief Justice and Associate Justices. The quality of the briefs that we file before the Honorable Supreme Court. Our own representation of our clients before the Supreme Court. These are issues that we've looked at over the years. We've been graded. I mean, just this morning I was coming to your studio here. I heard a release from the Chief Justice talking about magistrates, not being ethical in doing their work. These are all the issues. So sometimes we have topics that border on ethical transgressions, and then we have people coming to deliver paper on those ethical issues. So it is good that we participate because, like you said, this is a learning process, a learning curve. No lawyer knows it all. So you must continue to learn by interacting with people who have the expert positions, who have the expertise in delivering papers. So these people are normally approved by the National Executive Council to come and myself have delivered papers 1 or 2 occasions at assemblies and convention of the bar, and so we have people, even she herself, if she has the expertise, Ade has the expertise, we value you and we allow you to come to speak to your colleagues, maybe on the practice. There are lawyers here who don't know the practice. Trial procedures, for instance. The last meeting of the last convention, the assembly of the bar, we have Councillor Bennett and others delivering on trial technique, the body one, and others delivering on legal writings and all this stuff. Some lawyers have some challenges. So by allowing people coming to deliver papers, for 2 hours, 3 hours, it will help to improve the practice. Your individual performance will be impacted. So that's why we
grade your lawyers.
Yes, we grade them. So the 10 points is to indicate that you participated in all the CLE sessions over the year, and that sets you on the straight record to get your good standing certificate in the preceding year.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, so you asked whether the CLE process is meant to compel lawyer to attend. I don't think that's the best thing, the best way to put it. I think that attending convention is a requirement of all members of the bar. It's constitutional. We have to attend convention. And whether or not there's CLE happening at a particular convention, you are still mandated, required to be in attendance. So attending is a constitutional requirement of all of us who are members of the bar. So I just wanted to add that, and Councillor Fama already, said it all, that the process of the CLE process is an added advantage for all lawyers to be able to interact with different subject matters and different issues that is decided, issues that are decided upon by the committee to be discussed at the convention. And like he put it, you see, talking about emerging trends in the law, there are different issues, and lawyers are professional people. Before becoming a lawyer, most people already have their expertise in different areas. There are lawyers who are accountants. There are lawyers who are human rights advocates. There are economists. You have professional people, and at the different points in our society, we have different issues that come about, and it'll just be good for lawyers to talk about it, because at the end of the day, when you come in conflict with the law, you run to a lawyer to represent you, and you do not know who, at a particular point will become your lawyer, and no lawyer can tell at what point you may have to represent a client on a particular issue. So having, vast knowledge and understanding of the sector and the contemporary issues in that sector helps you to be more prepared, to provide a legal representation for your clients. So this is an important part of our convention, and all lawyers know. And the fact that you have to obtain your 10 points, like you said, it just puts you in good standing. You have good recommendations, and you'll be allowed to participate, further from activities of the bar. They're not going to throw you out if you don't come to attend the CLE, but there comes a point where you have to go and, to be able to review your standing with the bar, and then
Okay.
you have 40 short of your 10 points. That
Okay.
is a
Very shortly, I'll
requirement.
be opening the lines, but I want to ask you, Fasia, and Ade was in. She went out, I'm sure, to make some calls. Ade and Fasia, have you done sufficient? Fasia, why you laugh? Ade, Fasia, have you done sufficient publicity around this whole to the extent where all the lawyers are now aware of it and they'll be attending? Have you done sufficient publicity?
Yeah, so the lawyers interact with the bar, and one of the association or organization that I've seen very effective law is notice. You have notice is very cardinal in the practice of law. So lawyers have had this notice close to 2 months about the national convention which is happening, and we should have gone to Banga.
Yeah.
And immediately the venue was changed. The communication, the circular went across. So there's no lawyer within the borders of Liberia that do not know that convention is happening Thursday and Friday this week. So we've done enough internal publicity around the activities and the time frame and what is required for registration. And now what we're doing is just to be able to further explain so lawyers understand what to expect, members of the bar understand what to expect, and who's going to be joining us in this annual convention, and also for the public to have an appreciation of what we do when we gather.
Okay, now all of you are all lawyers. I'm about to open the lines, but I want to ask the SG this question. SG, I will need some legal education. Let's assume I'm in a process. We are two in the process, and I'm the process is controversial. I have some concerns concerning the process, and I went to your court. You got a court in a file an injunction. I'm just drawing an analogy. Now, yeah, friend. But I want
you keep to my friend.
I just asking the SG.
And then you come to my friend.
I want to your courtroom. Your courtroom. You are a lawyer.
I'm not.
No, I'm just saying something. I'm trying to draw that analogy because you are a lawyer. You should be able to educate me. And I went to your courtroom and I filed an injunction. Do you lift temporarily the injunction without holding a conference? I'm just asking you.
I reserve my comment on this matter. I know there's an issue right now that be dealt with the president of Liberia elections, the Congress. Let me allow the legal process to obtain.
No, I just asked my question.
I think the matter is no. The analogy.
Legally, I'm not potent to know what.
I don't want you to extrapolate something from me and then use it as a basis because you are a member of the president of Liberia.
I'm just asking a question.
These are members of the president of Liberia.
Okay, let's leave it at that. Let me open it now.
No, we have to comment on those with issues that they have the legal representation. And we're not providing free.
I was just trying to ask your
we're not providing free legal
advice. Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Open the lines. 0776 540-987. Again, 0776 540-987, or better still, 0880 514-096. Again, 0880-514-096. That's the numbers to call. And you are live on the SMS, 0776 540-987. Let me take this first call on the line quickly. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, sir. Let's hear from you quickly. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm sure the SG heard that. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Sorbor, and good morning to the Conscious Money Liberian. My name is Abraham Political Mojo Setu, And I call from the headquarters of the Veterans Bureau on the most talk about this morning. Let me appreciate your studio guests, your two distinct studio guests, for bringing up to speed updates the activities surrounding the Lebanon National Bar Association Convention. We depend on them for legal analysis, legal experts. So I wish them well in their endeavor. I could have problem with the bar if they're going to have a female in studio to see how they can handle properly, because I think the role of the bar, they believe in equity distribution and they believe in the rule of law. So I'm encouraging the bar, let them see how best our female can participate in our legal process. Let them be at the forefront. They should not always be at the back. So I wish them well. We hope and pray that the convention will hit a fruitful result. Because I listened to the Chief Justice. One mistake, she suspended activity just for the convention to be fruitful.
Okay.
So I wish them well.
Many thanks. Let's take this call on the line. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Sorbor George.
Yes, sir.
Mike Bebene, one of Bunkani Fania calling from Buchanan Preston Street.
Let's hear from you.
Thank you very much for the show, Sorbor. I always admire you. I just want to find out from the legal people that in the studio there is, they say always go that Pope may not get right. So I really want to find out from there whether it's true that Pope may not get right. One, two, some of those lawyers, you can hire them to play for you as a client for them, but always they will not tell you the truth. Whether you live in the water or you getting under the water, they will not tell you. They will always say things to encourage you. You be let down. So I really want to find out from them what is the cost, and whether they can really advise their lawyers to be fair with the clients. Thank you very much, Mr. Josh.
Okay, many thanks. 0778 540 987, or better still 0880 514 096. Again, 0880 514 096. That's the number to call, and you are live. Good morning. Good morning. Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, let's hear from you. Mm-hmm.
Hi, morning.
I'm okay.
Yeah, I just want to commend your studio guest this morning. But I love the hard work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I think so far that what you want to talk about. But I just received this communication sent to me. Let me read this by the directive of the President, Councilor J. Adolphus Kanduan. Second, all city solicitors, prosecutors, you are ordered to stay away from all courts, prosecutions until the central government of Liberia, through the Ministry of Justice, through the Ministry of Finance, and Development Planning, meets all demands put forth from the National Association of Prosecutors. And then also I have a follow-up to this one. Let me read this one, please, my guest. This is very important. This one is from the Council of Wisa. In the wake of the continuous go-slow action by prosecuting attorneys of the Republic of the Ministry of Justice, the Justice Ministry will grant letter patents, I hope I got it right, to private lawyers retained by private prosecutors on a case-by-case basis, so as not to hinder or defeat the end or administration of justice occasioned by this track action. So meanwhile, the Ministry of Justice wishes to ensure the general public and party litigants that all is being done to resolve the boycott of courts instituted by prosecuting attorneys. And signed, Councilor Wisa signed this one. He's the acting Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia. Let me take this caller quickly. Good morning.
Good morning, Sorbor.
Yes, sir.
Let me say thank you. Let me say good morning to my big sister in the studio. I've been a secret admirer from Ombe Radio Day. I'm so proud of her. Thank you very much.
I know you're making reference to Fasia Harris, eh?
Exactly. So.
Fasia trying to deny me the knowledge that I was supposed to get on this program. Okay, go over there quickly.
Let me say thanks to our lawyers, and they are the exact watchdog of society. Because in the absence of the law, the country will go helter-skelter. So I want to appreciate them. I think for the past 10 years, the Liberia Bar Association have taken another trick to enlighten, educate, and sensitize the Liberian people. I think I want to appreciate them. We want to encourage them because life in itself without law, we will not understand where we are going. So we want to encourage them, we want to welcome the ideas. I think it is knowledgeable.
Okay.
We want to encourage them. Think for a
Okay. I think you made a point. Let's take this other call on the line quickly. Good morning.
Good morning, Sorbor George.
I take two more calls. Yeah, let's hear from you quickly.
Yeah, Sorbor, let me say good morning to your studio guest. I'm Emmanuel M. Sopa Jr. and I joined this morning from the office of the intellectual class of the community. Where I listened to the distinguished, lawyers in studio as they discuss the issues surrounding their convention. I think it's a good one, but I have admired what Pastor Harris, I've been hearing for a long time, I follow from on the radio, and now she's trying to gravitate to the law field. This is very good to see, female getting into the legal profession because, on a general basis, we are looking up to the lawyers to propagate a better thing in the society. We trust them. So at the Central Law School, we want them to be focused on their education so that they'll be able to represent our country, not only in Liberia, but even at the International Court of Justice. We hope to see one of them there one of these days to represent our country. Thank you very much for affording me the time.
Many thanks, many thanks. Let me end it there and go back to my studio guest to, okay, let me take this one quickly, this last caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Honorable Sorbor George.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm never having a question. Yeah. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, I just want to make a concern. So I want to extend my thanks and appreciation to the lawyers in the studio. But I have a concern regarding the international treaties that govern the rights of persons with disabilities. Now, when it comes to the UN Conventions on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, we found out that the justice system are not really making sure that the rights of persons with disabilities are protected under the rules of law. So my question is, what are the Bar Association of Liberia doing in terms of making sure that rights of persons with disability are protected under the rules of law? So I really want to get a clear understanding of that.
Many thanks. Let me take this last caller. Good morning, also. Good morning.
Good morning, Sorbor.
Yes, sir.
Let me say good morning to my sister in studio, Pastor Harris. This is Matthew Theodore calling from Sino. Thank you all for the program, and we hope that things get better as we people stay and as we continue to make our justice system a better place. Thank you.
Many thanks. Okay, that does it. We're not taking additional calls. Mr. SG and the rest of the team.
The first issue I want to comment on is an issue emanating from the Ministry of Justice, and I thought I commented on this matter. The bar is going to shortly intervene in this matter. As I leave this studio, before coming on the show, I talked to the national president because we think it's a matter of concern for the bar. The fact that prosecutors have boycotted or are boycotting courts doesn't speak well for the practice, and so we think they have some issues. And the way also the authorities at the Ministry of Justice have responded to this particular action doesn't look well also. So, I think the way to go to do it is to sit around the table to talk and find a way around it. And so we're going to intervene because the prosecutors are also members of the bar. And so the national president, the National Executive Council, is quite concerned about this matter. And so we hope to intervene to sit with the Minister of Justice to see that there can be some breakthrough very quickly because the November term is now on, and so we don't have government lawyers. You call them government lawyers going to court. I think it's a matter of concern for the bar, so we're going to intervene to see how this matter can be resolved. It's not the way to solve the problem by issuing letter patents to private lawyers, because you talk about 100 plus prosecutors. So are you going to issue letter patent to all private lawyers to go and take on the issues in the various courts? We think the way to do it is to sit around the table to discuss this matter. So the leadership of the bar is quite concerned about that. On the question of disability rights on international treaty, I think it's an issue of concern. So we take note of that issue raised by the federal court, and so we add into the package some of the issues that we will begin to dissect at the level of the bar. Somebody called and said female participation. The fact that you see Fasia here, you see Ade Wadikakula, is that we're giving opportunity to most of our female lawyers because some of them are quite competent to say the least. They are quite competent, and so we've given them responsibility on different committees in the bar, and they are doing well. And so, and we'd like to see even some of them, opting to become national president, national vice president, national secretary general in conventions to come. So we remain open to that. And so, and the other issue about there's no justice for the poor. The same thing we're talking about, the belief system about the performance of the court system. There are people who believe that the one that you don't have money and so you can get justice. I don't think it's so. The judiciary is challenged. There are multiplicity of issues that bedevil the judiciary. All we have to do is to continue to talk, call for more support. Like yesterday, I was on OKFM calling for the implementation of the Autonomy Act that was promulgated some time ago by the legislature for the judiciary to give independence, because all these issues about bribery, corruption, and all these issues are something that would tend to undermine the performance of the judiciary. And so we need to talk about all these issues continuously, working with the leadership of the Supreme Court to see what can be done. Yes, even the Honorable Chief Justice herself has raised this issue that there are questions of ethical transgression committed by magistrates and some lawyers. She's quite concerned about that. So we're going to work with her. In fact, in the first quarter of 2023, the leadership of the bar will embark upon visitation with magisterial courts, firstly around Monserrado, and then we'll go beyond Monserrado to see what they are doing there, what role the bar can play to improve performance. So I will stop there and allow my colleagues to end it up, but I think...
Yes, quickly, we don't have time. Fasia and Ade, please respond, and then we'll take leave of you. You can also give us your parting comments.
Okay, the first thing I want to address is the issue of whether or not media will be accredited. Yes, members of the media are going to be accredited. It's not going to be the entire press union of Liberia, but we're going to ensure that we have both print and electronic media present at the 2-day activity. The second issue with the guy talking about people with disabilities, we have legal clinics across the country. Okay, so if you have issues, it's good to take advantage of those opportunities. And there are also lawyers who volunteer. I know for a fact that our firm will volunteer to do work for people with disabilities for free. And the man who said that your poor man no rights, it's kind of a catch-22, yeah. Litigation is not cheap. To be frank, it costs a lot of money. So if a lawyer decides to help you, it's because he wants to help you, because he knows you don't have the money. But if a lawyer does 1, 2, 3 cases, he cannot continue doing. How does he eat? How does he take care of his own family? Okay, so we just try to. That's why there are efforts to introduce alternative dispute resolution, because we know those things are going to be very cheaper and more speedy. People are going to be able to get justice more speedily if ADR is introduced. And I think that's about it.
Okay, yeah, Fasia, quickly. Not much time we have.
All right, thank you. And I just want to say thanks to all the callers who extended their greetings. And to say that just on the point that Anthony Kekula ended on, that whether or not poor man, has a right, and to restate that everyone, right, is equal before the law and deserve adequate representation when they come in conflict with the law or they need to be represented. But like she said, there are challenges, right, across the country, and we all understand these challenges, but that doesn't mean that because you have of certain economic status, that means you cannot have adequate representation, or your rights, cannot be adhered to, or you do not have access to the court or the legal system. But against those challenges, the law is what it is. It stands for equity, it stands for equality, and it's there to protect the rights of everyone. Alternative dispute resolutions are different methods that we can use. The bar has legal clinics. The Female Lawyers Association has legal clinics that also help to respond to some of, the cases that minority groups or people that are, at a very disadvantaged, situations can have representation as well. So, and to remind everyone, don't forget that We start on as early as 7:30 on Thursday morning at the Pinsville City Hall. We continue on Friday with the parade at the same time, beginning at ERWA Junction. And if you haven't registered, we encourage you to kindly go to the office of the bar and do your registration. Thank you.
Okay, Antonin at law for
So, 1 second, just 1 second, please. Let us acknowledge the role of the steering committee that has put in sufficient work in the planning process, headed by the National Vice President, Councillor Jamal Christopher Detto. The steering committee has done some very good work, putting sufficiency of time, resources, and everything in the planning process.
Okay.
And I'm sure that will inform the outcome of the convention.
Well, he's Councillor Bono M. Vama. He's the National Secretary in the National Bar Association. You also heard Anthony at Laws, Ade Wedika Kula, and Fasia Harris. We want to say thank all of you for taking time off a busy schedule to appear on this SRS today.